Start us up.
Welcome back to another commentary video. No, it's not a commentary. It's a reaction video, I guess. A reaction video. We're a little late to this little controversy, but you know.
Is it really? It's so stupid that this is a controversy.
Well, I mean,
it
got that big to where people were covering it. So,
but I got myself all made up.
There's nothing wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
So that they don't know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oftentimes we think we know, but we really don't.
One of the biggest things I at least could say that I think is harmful about the red pill ideology
right,
is not the harm that it gives guys in terms of their expectations for relationships. It's obviously also the harm that they do towards women, where they have to deal with a bunch of like 13 and 14-year-old. I mean, we saw that Sneeko video where that kid comes up, oh, kill all the transgenders, talk about blah, 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 blah. The harm there is obviously very prevalent. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed is that guys now are less interested in having an experience. There's so much of a commodity, or no, not a commodity. I guess the word would be, there's so much of a focus being put on talking about gender dynamics. You could talk in circles. One thing, when Sneeko, a lot of people, you could say what you want about Sneeko when he kind of diverted away from red pill. One thing he got right is that a lot of red pill is guys yelling at computers. One of the biggest things that red pill does wrong is that it rewards guys for going and screaming at computers. You could scream at a computer all day long. I could scream at a computer all day long. But what's going to give me more valuable experience? Going out and actually talking to a woman and touching grass. That's the biggest thing. No, and that's the like, so many guys now are just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth talking about what's the best way to have a relationship. Why don't you just go have a relationship? When did it become this? And this is something I talked about way back when I was in the internship studio for the Jacob Koopman show. Nothing beats experience. You could talk about the best way to do something. You could try to come up with a million different formulas. It's the same thing with those stupid ass fucking pickup artist guys. Or you could just throw yourself into the deep end, go experience it, go outside, go to a bar. Where is that now, right? Like, and I think that significantly weakens guys. I really do. And I think like we could have a conversation about our differing opinions, but we've also had experience with women to back us up.
which is fair.
A lot of guys, I feel like, especially younger men now, instead of, think about it, it's such an easy way to attack this issue. Instead of, you could just watch, you could click up and you could watch either Andrew Tate, you could watch on either side, right? You could watch Andrew Tate, you could watch, I don't know, who's on the other side? Hassan? You could watch either of those guys. You could formulate both of those opinions without ever once having to actually go and talk to a woman or have the experience of what you're debating. And I think that's a really interesting and a really, not an interesting, but it's interesting to think about, but it's a really dangerous subsection of a lot of online discourse right now. It's a dangerous part, or it's a dangerous byproduct of a lot of internet discourse right now, is the fact that so many people want to have an opinion, but not a lot of people. It's become easy to be an internet keyboard warrior, and it's become less and less easy to actually go and experience the things that you want to talk about.
What I will say, not to, bring up another point, but what I will say is I agree with you. I think the only thing that we might differ on is I might think that not everything needs to be experienced. I think you can live without, like, you can learn things and just say, okay, I might not need to jump into that. If you so choose to jump into that, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
But we can agree it's certainly not relationship dynamics. That's something that it's gonna do you no good. Especially, I mean, I didn't even talk about this, and I won't be too long-winded with this point, but think about all the young men right now that are having this much discourse and have never actually touched or talked to a woman.
Well, yeah, no,
they're putting themselves at a significant disadvantage before they even start.
Exactly. And I would agree with you there. If you're going into it saying women are this and women are that, and then that's your worldview, and you haven't even spoken to one, that doesn't even make sense.
We put a lot of emphasis on the red pill and bashing women, but think about the other end, right? Where it's like, even if it is something where it's like, because you should have a lot of respect for women, obviously, but let's just say there's a guy that watches one guy from the other side, and he's the other side of the red pill, I should say, and he's almost too respectful, and then he doesn't have a backbone, and then he gets taken advantage of. So I just think consuming too much content online, regardless, without going outside and touching grass.
But honestly, it's that's an age-old rule since since I was a kid. It's like when your parents or somebody used to say to you, like, hey man, if Johnny jumped off the bridge, are you following him?
That's my guy. If you jumped off the bridge, bro, I'm following you.
Coop, I'm not following you off the bridge. I would try to stop you from jumping off the bridge.
All right, continue on with the
I
video.
would
Man.
tell you, like, why are you jumping off the bridge? You can live to be better.
What if I didn't have to die?
Then I would tell you to not.
You're not taking that jump with me?
You're choosing to.
What if it was a survivable fall?
Why are we jumping?
Because for the
This is
for the vibe.
This is exactly what we're doing. This is exactly what we're talking about.
the experience. we're having this conversation on the bridge as we're about to jump.
What? I haven't watched the video. I just heard bits and pieces of it. I bet you've heard bits and pieces of it too.
I've watched a little bit.
Oh,
of
you
it.
watched it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've actually watched it, you want to.
So yeah. I mean, it's a guy and a girl. They go on a date, and she's kind of recording. The video starts off. At least the video that I saw starts off. She's recording in the passenger seat of his car. He gets out. Chivalrous guy, very respectful guy. Very like, hey, can I get you something?
Very chivalrous and.
Yeah, but not like
barely speaking.
I mean,
Okay.
Playback had the take that he was acting like a bitch. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he was very. We'll get to that in a second. So he gets out of the car. Turns out that they're at a what? At a
Cheesecake Factory.
At a Cheesecake Factory. Not a bad establishment. Could have been a Cracker Barrel. Could have been a Chili's.
Cheesecake Factory is just not on my top list of places. To
But
take
it's not
somebody.
like it's
But
not.
But hey, listen.
I feel like-
I don't think it's a bad place.
I
to
feel like
take
if you're in a
somebody.
jam, you know.
I don't feel like it's a bad place in the city. I like cheesecake. You
Yeah.
know? Don't.
And I like factories.
Don't look at Grace and plan dates in front of me. All right. That was,
Cheesecake Factory.
that was crazy.
We actually should. Grace, we could probably hear you from off the camera.
Yeah.
Cheesecake Factory. What are we thinking?
You'll do it later.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, just in general. Like, what do you?
No. She said let's do it later. Don't back out now.
Factory, I've only ever had fights at Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, now you get to
Fights?
Now you get to. Wait a minute, fights.
Fights.
Like
We'll
what
have to
type
talk
of?
about-
Wait,
yeah.
what type of?
Drake, why we always fight at Cheesecake? No.
I know the bar, but have you actually had fights at Cheesecake
Yeah.
Factory? Like what? Like actual
Like fist
physical-
fights or
no,
just
like verbal arguments with people at Cheesecake. I think it's like too busy in there. There's too
don't
much going on.
don't go there.
No, I'm gonna go there.
Don't go there.
So this guy brings this girl to Cheesecake Factory, not for a fight, but for a nice dinner.
Okay.
She's like, I'm not getting out of the car. Like he's walking around the car. She locks the door, which is crazy. She locks the door as he's rounding the vehicle, locks the door, and is like, "We gotta have a conversation about that." I'll throw in little clips of the video too. He then has to knock on his own driver's side door to get back into the vehicle, which is crazy. They end up having a conversation. This guy kind of stands his ground respectfully. Kind of relays the information. It's like, listen, you got here an hour late to my place. I had to wait an hour, which is kind of crazy that he's waiting an hour. Like if someone says, be here at this time, and then I get there at that time, and they don't come down for an hour, I feel like I would just probably leave.
Bro, an hour is kind of crazy, bro.
An hour's kind of crazy. But he ends up saying, listen, that's the reason I brought you here to Cheesecake, is because I could have brought you, which could be cap, could be copium. It's like, it's pretty convenient to say, if you hadn't have come down an hour after we planned, I would have taken you to a nicer restaurant. He easily could have had Cheesecake planned from the get-go, from the jump.
Which is true, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, what if they had a reservation and then they missed their reservation?
So she gets out. She rounds the vehicle. She's back in there, or he's back. He was lucky enough to get back into his own car after she locked it.
That's so crazy.
He knocked on the window like, "Can I get back into my own car, please?"
No. All right, keep going. I'll see
Wild
my comments to the end.
So that she's talking to him. He's like, "Hey, listen, I do my best impression. Hey, so you were like 2 hours late. Like, it took you an hour to come out when I first. So I don't. He was respectfully, but with no bass in his voice, telling this girl what was up. And the end of the video, which playback doesn't show, is him driving her back home and them not getting anything. And a lot of people, again, took this video, blew it up, and used it as the poster child for a classic guy move. Classic, just like media now. Actually, I won't even say guy move, but classic media now. They take one video and they're like, yeah, this is all women. This is how all relationships
That is media these days.
Yeah. So, of course, that's not the case. But a lot of people use that kind of framing as gospel and just took off with it. If you're on a date, it's never supposed to be about the money, right? I think what a lot of people conflate is that, women are all about the money. Like, they want you to spend money on them on a date. It's not about how much money you spend.
You know what's funny? It's so funny that you say that, because Ivan Preach did a video, and I actually watched this one, where a woman is saying some guy wanted to take her out to coffee, and she was like, I'm above coffee. Why would you not drop money on me?
I've heard that before.
You know what I mean? And
I've heard that before.
my thing is, right? Because I was even.
I think you've heard that before.
Your face is funny.
No, Grace is honestly a
Grace was like, above coffee. She was like, what? But my thing is, why would somebody, when you first meet them, right? When you first meet them,
Scooch in, brother. Scooch
oh
in.
my goodness, bro.
I know we're gonna be chest to
What?
chest. Passionate.
Now I don't want to talk to you.
Close
now,
range.
now I
Talk to me
don't-
that way.
Oh my goodness.
Address the camera.
Why don't you back up to this corner of the
I can't. We don't have the space on the camera.
Oh my
The
gosh.
space in the frame. Josh, please. Think about the channel. Think about me.
Josh, please.
Think about me editing.
All right, look.
At the fucking doon doon doon. You have to do the doon 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 doon.
That sounds like a dance.
It's gonna be editing you like, yo, so like, here's my take on the whole situation. I'm just doon 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 doon.
Anyway, so Abba said his take was, why is it that you just meet somebody and you're gonna be dropping a band on them? You know,
You should.
Wouldn't you want to go somewhere nice, calm, you get to know the person a little bit more, and then as things progress, you know, it's not about if he's willing to do it or not. It's like, you know, are you gonna take somebody that you just met out to a 5-star restaurant, or are you gonna take them somewhere nice?
No, but I'm also not gonna take them to McDonald's, and this is what I want to
Well,
get to.
I wouldn't like. I mean, obviously, like,
But here's my
Okay,
thing.
go
Here's my
ahead,
thing.
go ahead,
Is
go
that
ahead.
I'll put myself on blast. Grace and I have been seeing each other for a month now.
What? We never knew.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is like I haven't been able to, you know, properly take her out to a really good spot just because money's been tight because of the situation. But she understands. It's less about for her. I think Grace is a very sensible person in this. It's like it's more so about the experience. So whether or not money comes into the equation
1 second.
is kind of a moot point, right? In that I like to think, and maybe I'm just speaking for me. I don't know. And Grace can you can always say otherwise if you don't agree. But like I think for the average woman, it's less so about how much money you spend, and more so the quality of restaurant you take them to is indicative, or the experience you give them is indicative of how much you value them.
Fair.
And so I think a lot of these red pill guys, what they think is women being like, oh, I want him to spend a certain amount of money on me. It's like, no, women don't want you spending a certain amount of money on them. What they want is you giving them a genuine positive experience. And sometimes
Effort that counts.
it's the effort, yes. And that's what a lot of, I think, red pill guys don't get, is that it really is the effort. And sometimes money comes into the equation because nothing's for free. These are the same guys that preach a lifestyle of cars, you know, stuff like that, and the camera's on low battery, so we probably have to get out of here soon. But don't let this video, guys, dictate how all women are, because there are women like
very
that
fair.
that will actually really care
very
if you
true.
take them to a. But yeah, that's not all
Let me
women.
tell you something straight off the bat, right?
Oh,
Straight
dude,
off the bat.
we're on short time.
All right, straight off. Long story short, I'm gonna just leave you out with this.
Yeah.
You know, Kuba and I have had a lot of different experiences when it comes to women, but I always told myself that just because I had a bad experience with one woman does not mean that all women are like that. You know,
It's
and
important to note.
That's very important to note, because a lot of guys or a lot of people in general will have one bad experience and then just say that that's the experience.
And that's the only thing.
That's it. You know, and I don't think that should be the case, especially when we're talking about human beings. You know, none of us are perfect. Keep being willing to try new things, to get to know different people, because it could work out for you. You never know. But anyways,
All right, guys, we'll see you in the
you
next
guys later.
short battery life.